Hello, thank you for attending this presentation. I'm going to share with you a paper called Overly Attached when Brand Flattery Generates Jealousy in Social Media. It's a research I work on with Géraldine Michel from Sorbonne University in Paris, France, and with Claudiu Dimofte from San Diego State University, USA. And I'm Andria Andriuzzi from Jean Monnet University in Saint-Étienne, France. The context of this research first is consumer brand relationships. Since the seminal works from Fournier and Alvarez, we know that consumers develop feeling towards brands that are quite similar to those they have towards other individuals. Among those feelings, consumer can feel love. Actually, brand love is a predictor of marketing issues such as word of mouth and resistance to negative brand information, as Batra and colleagues showed. Where there is love, jealousy will follow. And research showed that it's not always a negative issue because brand jealousy can actually create customer engagement. The second element of context is online consumer brand interaction. Brand manager nurture customer brand relationship by using social media on a range of platforms. And research showed that online brand consumer interaction has a positive impact on consumer attitude, on behavior, but it can have diminishing returns, which means that it's not always a good thing to interact too much. As the key constructs of brand consumer relationships, for example, trust, attitude, loyalty, they map well onto classic social relationships. Therefore, we choose the theoretical framework of face work. Goffman told us that when interacting with others, people tend to avoid face-threatening acts and produce face-flattering acts to ingratiate themselves to others and to allow the interaction to continue. If brands produce face flattering acts, FFAs, in social media conversation, they will be more likely to be perceived as human-like because they mimic human interaction style and they follow human-to-human interaction norms. And similar to social relationships, brand FFAs will be more effective to those in weaker relationships. Indeed, when we interact with people we know quite well, like friends and family, we don't need a sophisticated face work strategy. We can use a direct language and it will be the expected norm. We use also social comparison theory, where Schmidt tells us that attention to other can threatening the self-worth. Therefore, public brand attention to other consumers can threaten the self-worth of consumers and challenge the exclusivity of their close relationships. Indeed, people usually like more those who flatter them rather than those who flatter others. Actually, we prefer to be flattered. We think we deserve to be flattered more than the other. Individuals can therefore can feel envious of this superior position, for example, in discussing with a brand, that they would like to have for themselves. This can threaten their own relationship with the brand and generate jealousy. That's what we're going to investigate in this study. The formal hypothesis, the first one, is the use of face flattering acts addressed to other consumers produces higher brand humanization perception for consumers of low than for consumers of high brand attachment. The second hypothesis is H2. Consumers display more jealousy after observing brand FFAs addressed to others compared to FFAs addressed to the self. To test those hypotheses, we run two experimental studies. The first one is a 2x2 between subject design. We exposed 188 adults to a screenshot of a fictitious brand consumer conversation on Facebook. We manipulated the presence of face flattering acts, so they looked at conversation with or without face flattering acts, and we manipulated brand attachments. The dependent variables measured is the extent to which respondents anthropomorphized the brands. We measure anthropomorphism by using a scale adapted from Hudson and colleagues. The second study is a 3-cell design. We ask participants to imagine they were browsing their Facebook feed and noticing a brand consumer conversation. So we had 3 cells, one with face flattering act targeted to the self, another one face flattering acts targeting to other consumers, and the last one without FFAs as a control. We measure anthropomorphism again and also experience jealousy from consumers, from participants. The main result for study 1 is that we found a significant interaction between the use of FFA and brand attachment. If we look at low attachment consumers with low brand attachment, we found that they felt the brand was more human-like when the brand used FFA compared to when the brand didn't use face flattering acts. But we don't find such an effect. There's no significant difference if we look at consumer with a high attachment. Therefore, the first hypothesis is validated. If we look now at study 2, the main result is a significant effect of FFA target on both dependent variables, anthropomorphism and jealousy. If we look at jealousy, more specifically, consumer displayed less jealousy when the FFA was targeted to the self, when they were the subject of brand flattering, compared to when the brand was flattering other consumers. A bit surprising here is that we have quite a similar level of jealousy if we compare FFA to other and to control, so it was a bit intriguing here. Nevertheless, we can validate our second hypothesis. As a conclusion, I could say that we show that brands producing face flattering acts in social media conversation are seen as more human, especially for consumer of low attachment. We found also that brand face flattering acts aimed at others are associated with more jealousy than when the face flattering act is aimed at the self. As I say, contrast again control requires further investigation. We could also run a mediation analysis. What we want to investigate, and we try to do it already in the next steps of this research, is to study the role of brand positioning, especially to compare when the brand is positioned on warmth compared to competence. And we could also measure other marketing downstream, such as purchase intent, loyalty, and so on. Thank you very much for your attention. I would be pleased to read your feedback and answer your question if you have any. Thank you also to the joint AMS and AFM teams for organizing this session. Thank you. Bye.